You're listening to the Summer Series, the best of Business Essentials Daily. Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars. SoundCartel. Diet, exercise and attitude. No, not a weight loss regime, but the keys to retiring well, along with good money management during your working life. So don't wait, get onto it now. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Inevitably, there comes a day when it's time to put the feet up, when you step out of the business and enjoy the fruits of retirement. But just a moment, how much have you planned for your latter years? Will you have enough money? How can you make the most of super and other investments? Will you be content with what you've got? To help answer those questions and more, we turn to one of Australia's trusted finance and investment advisors, Noel Whittaker, author of the international bestseller Making Money Made Simple. Noel's book, Retirement Made Simple, covers everything from estate planning, the aged pension, the share market, property, tax considerations, all written in layman's terms, which Noel's famous for. Chris Ashmore begins by asking Noel, when should we start planning for retirement?
All the research shows that the longer you plan, the better retirement's going to be. Also, as far as your money goes, the two factors which determine how much you have in superannuation when you retire is time and rate. So an extra few years can make a massive difference in how much you end up with.
What do you suggest people consider when designing their retirement plan?
Well, you need to think how you want to spend your time. I mean, most people with a business, they still want to be active. Now, some will work in the kids' business. Heaps of guys I know, their kids have become their successors. And that's fine if it works. Other people get involved in volunteering, in charity work. One of the guys I play golf with is the chairman of Food Bank. You need something to get out of bed of a morning for. You just got to have a purpose in life.
How important do you think of financial advisors, and should we all have one?
Well, I think you need an advisor if you've got enough money to have one. I mean, if all you've got is a little house and you work in a low-paying job, you might need an advisor. But what the advisor can do is help you set goals, because goals make a big difference. The advisor can help you set the goals and help you design strategies to reach the goals and to optimise your tax and your structure. I mean, for most businesses, the best structure is a discretionary family trust with a corporate trustee. And if you've got a self-managed super fund, you must have a corporate trustee. In my own case, my family trust and my self-managed fund have the same private company as the trustee. So they can help a structure. You know, it's very important to have assets in the right name for tax purposes.
You're a big advocate for investing in shares, Noel. Why is that?
Well, I think they're the best investment. They're a simple investment. The key to property, if you're not buying your own business in your super fund, is to add value. Now, it's very hard to add value to a property. So, you've got to pick a winner. With shares, you can just invest in the index. You can start with 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. There's no decisions. And by definition, the index cannot go broke. So shares are simple. Also, if you and I are retired and you've got $2 million of property and I've got $2 million of shares and we both want $100,000, I can simply quickly sell $100,000 worth. You've got to sell the entire property because you can't sell the back steps. Pay a great big chunk of capital gains tax. Also property, the big money going in, there's big money going out. And if you buy a non-residential property, they can be vacant for 3 or 4 years. High risk.
Why do you think a lot of people balk at shares? Is it because they don't understand?
Look, I know some very wealthy people who won't touch shares. They tried them once and they burnt themselves. You know, I was giving a seminar I talk about in the book, and this guy said, I put $20,000 in shares back in 1990 and lost a lot. So I ran the numbers. which are on my website. The $20,000 in 1990 invested in the index would now be worth $200,000. He just picked the bad one. If you don't know shares, you shouldn't be picking winners. It's too difficult. Because too many people are just, it's a good tip. Oh, this sounds all right. I rang my broker this morning. This sounds a good deal. He said, no, it's not. It was a new float. He said they've tried to do it before. It didn't work then. Oh, thank you.
Leaving something for the kids or the grandkids, is that better to do when you're still alive?
We've got a strong view that you help your kids while you are young and they are young, instead of waiting till I'm 90 and they're 60, But that's on the proviso. It's a help up, not a handout. If they're wasters, if they've got nothing, you don't do it. But you could say, well, for every $1,000 you save, I'll give you $10,000. They've got to have some hurt money in there. Now, we've helped our 3 kids all buy houses. They've all been good money managers, so that's important. Also now, the government's thinking now is that you shouldn't be taking it with you. They now see the family home as a major source of retirement income, either by downsizing or by taking out a reverse mortgage.
What's your best advice about drawing up a will?
I think before we go to there, I think the best advice is always take advice before the deed is done. I hear often couple aged 50 want to help daughter buy a house, so they put their names on the title deed. Then they become half owners of a house worth $400,000. Now, fast forward 15 years, the house is worth $800,000, their share's worth $400,000. Now they want to get the age pension. Well, they're over the assets limit. Now, to give the house to the daughter, they'll be up for capital gains tax for $150,000, and Centrelink hold it for 5 years. So that decision not to take advice when they got on the title deed could cost them $200,000. Now, in a will, I think the main thing is testamentary trust or not, because we always talk about the case of the couple left $4 million and there were 4 kids. At $4 million they die, out comes $4 million. Number 1 son's a gambler. That lasted a week. Number 2 son's a builder going broke. That went to creditors. Number 3 daughter's in a rocky relationship. Half of them went out the door with the husband. And the 4th's a medical specialist. He had tax problems. Now, if that would have been left to 4 testamentary trusts, the gambler couldn't touch it, the builder's creditors couldn't get it, the daughter's husband couldn't get it, and it could be invested so the doctor doesn't get tax problems. But again, you need to take advice to see if it's appropriate for you. The other thing people don't know is that the part of your superannuation left to a non-dependent suffers a 17% tax on death. Now, your wife is always a dependent, but the most you can leave to your partner in super is $1.6 million. So let's say that you die, your wife has total superannuation of $4 million, maybe the taxable component's about $4 million. The tax on that when she dies would be $680,000. But you get around it easily. You appoint an enduring power of attorney, and the attorney is told that when you are getting near death, and most people just don't drop dead, most people don't, the attorney withdraws all your superannuation money tax-free and goes to your bank account. Because superannuation also doesn't form part of your will. So if you've got dysfunctional kids and you leave a few $1 million in super, they can fight over it and lock up the estate for years. But once it goes into the bank account, it goes back to the will. So it makes very good sense.
I suppose to finish up with, Noel, once retired, people can sometimes lose a sense of purpose. How do you recommend people live a happy and fulfilling retirement?
Well, the major factors are your health and your relationships. In the book, I talk about something I never heard of till I researched the book, called low-value transactions. So you walk the dog and you say hi to someone else walking the dog. You go to the coffee shop and you say hi to the proprietor. You may see the same person having coffee. Now, these aren't your best friends that you don't take them home, but just that social network is a major factor, major factor. And don't forget too that it's better to ease your work off, not just go bang and stop. So if you can slowly reduce your hours and change your lifestyle and earn some money, it means your money lasts a lot longer and it gets you out of the house and you won't annoy your partner.
Is that what you're doing, Noel? You're still working?
I work flat out. I just love it. But I mean, I work from home. You know, I write for the papers. We have a house at the beach. Every Thursday we go to the beach house. I work hard on Mondays and Tuesdays, you know, golf on Wednesday. It's a good life. But you've got to work at it. It's about exercise, diet and attitude. And one of the major things is relationships. That's your partner and your kids, if you've got them.
That was Noel Whittaker, author of Retirement Made Simple. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.